Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Tourismus. I'm Abigail Munalula and today I'm joined by Frank Stefan.
That's
here.
right.
Yeah. And today we'll bring you the latest stories from Namibia's tourism, conservation and environmental sectors. We'll be telling you more about our topics, destinations and to the point segments. So don't go anywhere. So talking of topics, the hot topic right now is CST. Frank, you need to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for CST?
No, I think I'm super excited, especially as it comes closer now. More and more people have decided to be part of it. I'm pretty much involved with the outside exhibitions, and then obviously will be involved in the seminars as well. And I must be honest, that's probably what I'm looking forward to most, is those seminars, because they will be highly interesting, they will be accessible to the public. So there's no fee that needs to be paid. These seminars take place in the morning, and so anybody is welcome who's got an interest. So I think the best thing for those who are interested to attend, either do it online, or if you want to maybe even exchange with the people who are doing that, just come there, take part. There will be enough rosters and agendas and programs on the various newspapers that we are printing in the week of the CST, which is obviously on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of September. But then on the other hand, there will be enough opportunity to get hold of a program.
Yeah, it's going to be very accessible. It's definitely going to be packed. I think I'm excited for this one because of how well they've done with curating. They were very intentional. I don't want to ruin the surprises, but I know what speakers are going to be there. You wouldn't expect that in Namibia. So very excited for that.
Ones,
yeah. But okay, enough of us just chatting and chatting. Let's get into the meat. We're looking at the rhino poaching in Namibia. Namibia has recorded 18 rhinos poached for their horns so far this year. According to the Ministry of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, 13 of the incidents occurred in protected areas, while 5 happened on commercial farms. Of the rhinos killed, 11 were white rhinos and 5 were black rhinos. The species of the remaining 2 is unknown. Namibia recorded 40 rhinos poached in 2025, while 2024 saw 81 rhinos killed by poachers. Also, the latest, I missed this point, but the latest 2 incidents were reported in the Kunene region this past week. And now authorities arrested 77 suspects in connection with rhino poaching, including 73 Namibian nationals. Namibia's poaching crisis reached its highest recorded level in 2015, when 97 rhinos were killed. Other major spikes were recorded in 2018, with 84 rhinos poached, and in 2022, when 94 were killed. The country also confiscated 14 rhino horns in 2024, compared to 21 in 2023. I want to know your thoughts on this, Frank.
Yeah, look, to me, it's always funny how the ministry or government or even the police come up with all these numbers the moment that the crisis is there. How about telling those items much earlier, telling us where we're heading, what we're doing? It shouldn't always be in reaction to what has just happened, number one. And number two, moving around the tourism circles, when talking to quite a number of people, you start hearing these rumors about who's involved there and who's not. And I sometimes find it sad that I sit in Windhoek, far away, and I have to listen to people who've got a really good idea of who it is, and then nothing seems to happen. I mean, they need to pounce there and then before
That's
this
true.
person runs away, because one of these guys, well, he seems to be quite high profile. And so to me, it's sad that we always read about it in our news here, and then the police simply doesn't get it on.
That's true.
You know, so
We won't be seeing
anyway,
that change.
yeah. So those are our rhinos. Up next, we've got Mercedes-Benz. Now you wonder what that has to do with tourism, but it has. Mercedes-Benz is under the spotlight, and Namibia will take center stage in Mercedes-Benz's global 140 years, 140 places anniversary journey from 22nd to 27th August. That's in the coming week. The initiative is being supported locally by the Namibia Tourism Board, the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, as well as obviously M&Z Motors, who are selling Mercedes-Benz in Namibia, and that, by the way, for the past 90 years already. They're the oldest franchise of Mercedes-Benz in Africa. So 3 Mercedes-Benz S-Class vehicles will travel more than 50,000 kilometers across 6 continents, visiting 140 locations around the world. In Namibia, the journey will include the Zambezi region and Fish River Canyon before ending in Windhoek. That will obviously be at M&Z Motors. And the initiative will showcase Namibia's tourism, culture, conservation achievements, and investment opportunities to an international audience. It also provides an opportunity to strengthen Namibia's global profile as a tourism and investment destination. And as it is now, we will certainly, as a media group, be part of the big thing due on Tuesday, when Mercedes-Benz will start having a bit of an invite to the public and so on. It's obviously not open to everybody, but to their favorite clients, obviously has to be that way. But we will bring a lot in the coming papers over the next few weeks, where we explain where M&Z Motors has its history, because M&Z itself is also 120 years old this year. They've been trading Mercedes-Benzes for 90 years of that time. So that's pretty close to Allgemeine Zeitung having their anniversary of 110 years.
Yes.
Well, in the case of M&Z, they're
I was
even older.
thinking just that.
Yeah. So there will be a lot that we'll be doing, but I believe you've got more about the WWF.
Yes, that's right, I do. I think before I head over to that, I'm curious, Frank, will they be having test drives to the public?
Well, that we will see. I know that they want to
That I'm
organize the one or
excited
other
for.
competition, but that's still in the stars.
That I'm excited for. Sign me up. Okay, so looking at the World Wildlife Fund, Namibia is developing a major initiative aimed at helping communities and landscapes adapt to the growing impacts of climate change. The proposed Climate Resilient Enduring Earth project is being developed with government institutions, universities, conservation organizations, financial partners, and United Nations agencies. The initiative is being prepared for submission to the Green Climate Fund, with the aim of securing long-term investment in climate adaptation and conservation. Stakeholders recently visited the King Nehale, George Mukoya, and Muduva Nyangana conservancies, as well as Ongula Village Homestead Lodge. The visits focused on understanding how climate change is affecting livelihoods, water resources, wildlife, and ecosystems. The project aims to support climate-smart approaches in areas such as agriculture, tourism, conservation, and water management.
Now, this is obviously quite an interesting development. In Namibia, we're used to climate change by now. We're used to having droughts. If you look at Europe, when looking at what's happening there right now, whether that's England or Europe proper, it's a serious thing. They have droughts in almost every part of the countries. They've never had the type of water restrictions they have to endure now.
Wow.
So what is normal to us is for them a foreign subject. And So that's why we have these initiatives that are far advanced now already. If you look at King Nihale, George Mukoya, or Muduvu Nyangana, they all, especially the last two are in Kavango, the other one in Novamboland, and they're all part of, especially in the northeastern side, they're part of the Kazakh Park.
Okay.
And the WWF has been involved in the Kazakh Park for years and years. So it's nice to see that they do it early this time.
Yes.
Because last time we waited actually too long in some areas, especially when it becomes dry in the Caprivi area, or what is now known as the Zambezi region. We shouldn't take too much time before we react, because the problem is we look at a rain region and suddenly it has half the water that it had before. It impacts on the animals much earlier than down here in Windhoek, where we're used to a much lower rainfall. So it's good to see that they act early.
It is so good to see. I mean, afterwards also trying to fix. Prevention is always the best cure. From fixing.
But we obviously have a video to look at for these type of things as well. So you just need to visit our sites, and then you can always follow our media and our social media. We've got lots of info always on the pages. Yeah, that's the end of our
topics, and we move on to destinations now. My favorite one. Yes, and now for destinations, we are looking at Otjiwarongo, where we look at Hadassa Guest House. We travel to Otjiwarongo, where we visit Hadassa Guest House this week. The establishment has been welcoming guests since 2009. French couple Pascal and Anne Johannes took ownership in 2016. Hadassa Guest House has 17 rooms and offers guests a range of facilities, including a swimming pool, massage service, and dining options. Pascal Johannes tells us more about the history of the guest house, the services it offers, and how the establishment has developed since they took over. They had me at swimming pool. And the massages, so let's take a look.
Maybe we bought this guest house in 2016. This only one building exists when we bought. We build the new one. So we are the owner since 10 years now. And our main customer is a Namibian company. Okay, and just a little bit of tourist. We try to make some big effort on the breakfast, because like we have some people who come back, like it's a usual customer. We treat them like they are in-house. So we are very supple to organize what our customer wants. If someone prefer fish for the morning breakfast, we can organize. We don't propose dinner, but like there is a lot of restaurant around, is not a problem. We have a pool, of course. We can organize also, because we have a friend who makes some township tour. Our friend Joseph. We can organize some activity for our tourists, but only the township tour with Joseph. The rest is just we book for CCF, Waterberg, something like that. We don't organize by ourselves some activities. And after, what can I do? No, we are just bed and breakfast. And we offer also massage. We have a young Namibian friend who's have a very high level of massage, because when we provide them, people are very, very happy because he's a very good masseuse. So yes, we can organize also that. And one more time, we are very supple. We can adapt our offer to your request. Okay. 7 people, 1 in the office, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the garden, the rest in the room. And we have 2 people more in extra when we are fully booked too much. We need some people more, and especially the weekend. All our staff are very old. The story is they work here since more than 15 years.
Okay.
So we keep the historic staff, and we add new one when someone left. But 5 of our employees have more than 15 years of presence. We don't work a lot with a French tour operator, but we have some Booking.com for the French tourists, and maybe 1 or 2 little French tour operator, but we work better with the Dutch and German people and South African, a lot of South African people. But one more time, tourists, it's only 10 or 15% of our income.
Yes, and that was the Hadassa guest house. Up next, we've got the Katjizendu Lodge. The Katjizendu Lodge is not part of our Enjoy program, but this destination takes us to the Orongo region near Omaruru. Katjizendu Lodge is a 100% Namibian-owned tourism and hospitality establishment, with its main lodge located in the village of Otjiwarongo. Executive operator of the lodge is Inomasa Rukoro and Alma Taride Rukoro, the co-owners of Katjizendu Lodge, and they tell us more about the lodge, its story, and what guests can experience, and when visiting this unique Namibian destination, what more is waiting for them. Obviously, we also have a video clip of that one.
Good afternoon. My name is Alma Rukoro. I'm the co-owner and the member of Katjizendu Lodge, which is situated in Orongo region. The town which is nearby is Omaruru, and the main lodge is in a village called Odondati.
Good afternoon. My name is Inomasa Rukoro. I am the executive operator for Katjizendu Lodge.
Now, the idea of the lodge came in when my husband and I decided to set up a retirement home for us. So first we started with a stone fence, which was more about 9 hectares. And then the idea just changed that we came up with an economic opportunity where we thought of, okay, now we are going to change this to a lodge.
So Katjizendu Lodge is 100% Namibian owned. Some of the facilities that we do have is our rooms. We have standard rooms, double rooms, and in the near future we'll also set up 3 luxury villas. And for our luxury, people booking the luxury rooms, we'll also have the opportunity to dine under the stars. We'll also have, in terms of activities, we'll have a hot air balloon excursion. We'll also have hikes up the mountain, which is guided by our tour operators. In terms of wildlife, we have animals as well. We have exotic birds, we have beautiful fishes. Yes, and then we also have cultural experience as well, where we have the Ovahimba village. And here you're given an opportunity to milk cows, our beautiful milk cows. Here you can milk them and have an experience into what being a Namibian is.
We are excited to see you there at our lodge, which is situated 120 kilos from Omaruru. So when you come there, we are going to have an experience, a memorial experience, and everything will be excited, and we hope that you will come have a nice time with us.
Hope to see you there.
Hope to see you there at Katjizendu Lodge.
Right, and that was the Katjizendu Lodge. That brings us to the end of our destinations. Up next, we've got Up to the Point. Up to the Point. To the point.
And to the point, African wild dogs are among Namibia's most endangered predators, and many of the country's remaining populations live outside protected areas. This week, we speak to Nadia Leroux, who leads the Kalahari African Wild Dog Conservation Project. She shares more about efforts to protect free-roaming African wild dogs, working with farmers and communities, and reducing human-wildlife conflict. Let's take a look.
So my name is Nadia Leroux, and I work for the Kalahari African Wild Dog Conservation Project. I'm a Namibian, I'm local from here. I'm here now at the TSU Security Training Academy, which is where I also part-time reside when I'm not working with wild dogs.
Okay, so tell us a bit about the African Wild Dog Conservation Project.
Yeah, so we're a grassroots conservation and research project looking into African wild dogs in Namibia. We focus in areas outside of protected areas. So we are looking at wild dogs on farmland, whether it's communal farmland or freehold farmland. Our focus is definitely on the wild dogs that come into conflict with farmers and people are having issues with. So that's what we're looking at.
So what would you say are the main challenges that farmers face with wild dogs, but also from the other side, what is the biggest challenges for the wild dogs?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously wild dogs are a carnivore and a predator. They, predate on people's livestock and livelihoods. They're quite efficient and good hunters. So where they do end up on farms or naturally even still occur on farms, which is, I think this is our biggest thing, is that we just don't know much about dogs outside of protected areas. There's no real information on them. We don't know how many, we don't know where they are, we don't know a lot about their ecology or behavior. It's very unstudied in Namibia. We know about dogs in national parks, but not outside of parks. So there's very little information on them, other than, that farmers are struggling with dogs predating on livestock. So those are definitely the challenges that farmers have. The challenges that the dogs have, they're facing a lot of threats globally. I think first of all is just their reputation. They've just got such a negative reputation from the past, which is very understandable. I mean, historically they were considered vermin, and it was, bounties to shoot them and kill them. So they've got a very, very bad reputation. But as a species, they are under huge threat. So they are currently Southern Africa's most endangered large carnivore. They're the second most endangered large carnivore in Africa, so after the Ethiopian wolf. The threats that face them as a species is obviously just habitat loss. They are losing space. There's no space for these dogs anymore. But these are challenges that a lot of carnivores face and wildlife. But then there's also additional elements of fragmentation. So the population itself is becoming... Kom hier. Jou moer. Sit down. Okay, bly.
The population itself?
Yeah, it's habitat fragmentation. So because we're losing these open landscapes and we're losing corridors, these interconnective, areas for wildlife to move, the genetic diversity of these animals is becoming under threat as well, because they're in these isolated pockets and populations and not as much free movement anymore.
Yeah.
Then the other challenges that they obviously face is disease, because they are quite susceptible to disease from domestic dogs and vice versa. So we're seeing whole populations in some areas that have died off because of disease outbreaks. And then obviously snares, they often end up getting snared. So snares are a big threat to them. And then persecution from farmers.
So the snares are not set up for the wild.
No.
They're set up for other animals.
Yeah.
And they just get caught in those.
They get caught in the snares. And I think what puts them then at even bigger threat that we don't pay enough attention to is that wild dogs are very social animals. So unlike other carnivores where one male and one female represents a breeding unit, any male can breed, any female can breed. Wild dogs, they're not. It's actually the whole pack that's the breeding unit. So you have your alpha male and alpha female, and these are the only two that breed in a pack. And when one of these animals is lost or killed, the whole pack actually disintegrates and they split up. And some of those dogs go on to never breed again. So because of how socially intelligent they are and how socially, there's a saying that wild dogs live or die for their pack, and they really, really do. So they only breed once a year. They do have rather large litters, but the pup mortality is also very, very high.
Because of
Disease and other predators. Yeah, I mean, well, these smaller packs that are living in areas that don't have enough prey. Obviously, you have high pup mortalities because you have small packs. In Namibia, I find most of our packs that are living in farmland are quite small. It's only made up of maybe 4 to 6 adults, nothing more than that. Yeah, so now that you've got I would say mostly it's about 4 or 5. So these adults are trying to raise these pups. They're not being able to feed them enough. So we see disease, I think, is a big contributor to die-off. Then just, not enough food. Then persecution by farmers. And then as the pups grow up and get a bit older, they get taken out by other carnivores because they're young, they're a little bit stupid, So your 6-month-old wild dog puppies often get clapped by a leopard or even hyenas. And then road mortalities, they get hit on the road quite a lot, yeah. So by the time, 12 months has passed, you might have had a litter of 15 puppies, but only maybe 7 or 8 actually survive the denning period past 3 months. And then by the time they're a year old, there's only probably 2, 3 of them left. It's not very common that we're seeing a very high pup mortality. So once a year. Only once a year, and it's usually winter is the denning season. So anywhere from some of the earliest records I have is late April, and then going into August, September. But usually sort of June, July is your prime denning season, and then that's when the wild dogs become more stationary. So they're actually a very wide-ranging species. They use huge home ranges. So we collared some dogs in 2022 that lived outside of protected areas, and we found that they were utilizing, we collared 2 different packs. They were utilizing about 2,000 square kilometers. So their home ranges are massive, especially in these semi-arid areas.
What amount of distance do they travel during the day?
So our dogs were, I think, averaging between 15 kilometers a day, and I've had them move even further sometimes when they are outside of the denning season. But in the denning season, when they've got puppies, that's when they have a den, and they're there for about 3 months, and then they're quite stationary. So
And that's maybe when they're most vulnerable.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and this is also when they tend to come into more conflict with farmers. But we also found that the dogs that we were monitoring really stayed away from farms. They avoided roads. They stayed away from farmers. Where there was enough prey, we didn't find that there was a lot of conflict. So a lot of it has to do with just the diminishing prey as well, availability. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the Kalahari African wild dog, and one can truly say there's much truth in the fact that you these days see them more on the farms than you actually see them in the protected areas, and that creates human-wildlife conflict. It's simply because these are dogs that hunt in and they're good hunters. They're very fit, and they can run after the whatever buck they want to hunt for hours and hours, in fact, for a whole day. And that causes this friction because they obviously go for the easiest prey, and that would be sheep. Problem that we have. It would just be sad if we lose out on a species like that simply because we don't try to manage it.
That's true.
Done with that, we are at the end of our show, I suppose.
Yeah, that is the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again in the next edition of Tourismus. Until next time.
Bye from Frank.
And bye-bye from Abigail.